Hello, everybody out there.
There we are. We're starting the event. Hello.
We are. Hi, hi, hi.
I hope y'all can see us.
Yes, we can't see you, but we're hoping you can see us.
Are you a Coke?
Yeah. It's funny. When we first got together, before I met Ty, when you would say something at the same time, they're saying, you owe me a Coke. Why a Coke? Cokes are sweet. Maybe we could say, you owe me a green tea with stevia.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Well, back then the Cokes weren't quite as bad as
true.
Still. But
because we lived in the dinosaur days, just in case you didn't know. Mm-hmm. So back in the dinosaur days, everybody said, you owe me a Coke. But when I met Ty, he said, when we would say something at the same time, he'd say, I owe you a Coke. I love you, honey.
I love you too. I would just say that because I know you'd share half with me. She shares half of everything with me.
He's funny.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, so we're so thankful that you came back. We're glad that you did. So many of you came to our last webinar, and that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was. We had a really great time last week. Sorry, the screen kind of locked up on us. We live out in the boondocks in Tennessee, and we have what we refer to as turtlenet internet.
Yeah.
So apparently the screen locked up on us. We've done everything that we can today to try to make it better. So hopefully you are able to see us now and not just hear us.
Yes.
Fortunately, last week they could hear us.
Yes, and it really went well. And 90% of you guys stayed to the end, and we're really, really proud and happy about that. Faithful friends are willing to at least listen to us when you can't see us. But there was a picture. It landed, I think, in a good place.
Yeah, when the screen froze up, apparently it froze in a place where we both looked halfway decent.
Yeah, we didn't look crazy.
Instead of like
right.
But
I want to say thank you to Peter. Peter's our architect tech. He's our lead tech. He's helped us to put this together for you. He knows it's really important. Our whole team knows it's really important for us to be able to hear from you. And hi, look at all the highs. Hi there.
Hey everyone.
Let's see.
We have on right now.
Awesome.
That's cool.
So, yeah, just shy of 500. Hi from Sydney, Australia, Florida. Don't you love it? Atlanta. We were just
Saudi Arabia. Okay,
oh wow,
cool.
Saudi Arabia. This is great.
Abdul Salam from Saudi Arabia, North Wales, PA, awesome. Pennsylvania, the only state that you use with just 2 letters.
Right.
PA.
Yeah.
Right.
Pet cancer.
Cool.
Can I ask a question about pet cancer? Absolutely.
South Africa here.
Oh, we just met someone from South Africa at the Healing Strong event.
I showed them the award we got. We were in Atlanta this weekend, and we received an award from Healing Strong, and it's called the Legacy to You. We
just got this, and we're just so happy.
Closer to the thing there. See if they can see it a little better, a little higher. There's the award we got. We're so thankful to Healing Strong, and the reason I thought of that is that we actually met a lady that had flown in from South Africa.
Brooke from Michigan. North Carolina.
We got people from everywhere joining in.
Ireland.
England.
Wow, Emery.
Melbourne, yeah.
Rivera from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And Stanley. Hi to you both. Hello, Stan.
Hello, everyone. Wow, we got people joining from everywhere.
Wow, Saudi Arabia. Look at that.
Okay.
Oh, period. Missouri, South Carolina. Oh, we could do time and laugh and read your comments, and we will. I went back through the comments last time after we were done, and we realized there were so many questions we didn't get to answer. There were questions about our faith, questions about our family, kinds of things, and to be able to answer those questions. And somebody asked something about how does your lifestyle, they know, you said, I know you're believers. And so how does your lifestyle fit into the Bible? Well, the scriptures that I think of is and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. My people perish for lack of knowledge. That right there, we found that we have lost 7 family members just because we did not know the truth about cancer. And so as we've learned it, and then as we've shared it with you, we've had a lot of people respond and tell us that they were sent home to die in a lot of cases. And today they're cancer free because they learned the truth. And when we apply the truth, that really does unlock our and help us back to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing that I thought about as well with the Bible is it talks a lot about nutrition.
Yes.
In the first chapter of Genesis, it talks about the herbs yielding fruit and the seeds.
Yes.
And so when we look at natural medicine, one of the things that we see across the board is that it's all focused on a clean diet full of anti-cancer foods.
Or what is a clean diet, but really just the things that God created, when we look at the account of creation, he said, let there be light, and there was light. And on it went to the vegetation that he created for us, and he said it was good. And it is good when we get real food, and real food is just the food in the state that it's created. It was created to nourish us. It was created to taste good. It's amazing all the different flavors that there are across the board in food.
And that's one of the things when I think of when it talks about herbs and seeds, all of the protocols that we're familiar with, they contain some sort of herbs and some sort of seeds.
And fruit.
And fruits. The seeds, yeah. But
like apples, Jason Vale.
Yeah, there's a lot of anti-cancer type of nutrients that are contained in herbs and in fruits. So, and in the seeds of fruits and the seeds of vegetables as well. So a lot of wisdom there. I guess the wisdom is eat real food, right? That's what Dr. Marvel said. Eat real food.
Eat real food.
So we have
over 600 people, over 600. Wow.
Very cool.
Okay, so amen to the food chat. Alicia, where do you live? Do your children have vaccine exemptions from school? Well, you know,
they do have an exemption.
We live in America. We can say that. And we have 4 children. And we educate our children at home for various reasons, as you clearly would know. But yeah, we started out vaccinating. The first 2 have been vaccinated. We didn't know. We did the research. The second 2 have never been vaccinated. And we're very confident in that. The first time we had a child with Brianna, she was just under a year, and they were telling us we needed the MMR. At that time, we were reading very bad things about these vaccinations, and we were very concerned. And I was seeing things in her on the speech and things like that. And when I brought it to our pediatrician, there was a lady pediatrician in this practice. She was fantastic. She listened to us and took me seriously. And so I felt comfortable talking to her. She ended up leaving the practice. I think she did because she was seeing a lot of damage in this vaccine program. She was compassionate. So a young man took her place, and I told him the same thing I was telling her. And that was met with a snub nose up in the air. And he said to me, I'll never forget, he said, well, you could get more mercury. And I never mentioned mercury, but he said, you can get more mercury in a fish stick. We do not subscribe. If you do not vaccinate your children, you are no longer welcome in my practice. And being at the time, new mommy, uneducated, what did I do? I took my brand new, beautiful baby and said, here you go. On the altar of, what do you call that?
The Church of Pharmaceutical Mysticism.
Yeah. So I willingly did that, really against my conscience, was saying, no, this is a wrong choice. Encourage mothers out there and listen to your gut. God gave you this sense of what is good for your children and what is not. And we just think we blindly follow these doctors. We believe that they know everything, and we found out that they really don't. Yeah. And in those cases.
And so, what Charlene mentioned too is, vaccines kind of are a religion, and we refer to the Church of Pharmaceutical Mysticism, right? And it really is. It's sort of like a religion in that you are forced to, if you adhere to modern conventional medicine, if you're a pediatrician, it's accepted that vaccines are safe and effective. That's the accepted dogma, like a religious belief. But the problem is there are no studies to prove or to back up the fact that or the assertion that they're safe and effective. There's just not. Yeah. So it is really a religion. We actually live in Tennessee. In our state of Tennessee, vaccination is kind of midway. There are exemptions. And in order to go to school, we're not sure because we do homeschool.
There's exemptions for school.
Yeah, there are exemptions, but there are states like in California where there's even religious exemptions and medical way with.
We tried to campaign. We tried to campaign.
Yeah. Last night the elections. If you saw the elections, Senator Pan from District 6 of California, he's the main senator. Pan and Allen were the ones responsible for Senate Bill 277 in California. That requires admissions for children before they go to school. We were hoping and praying, and we contributed to the campaign of his opponent, but he didn't. He got trounced because Pan's just very well known, and he's got a lot of money backing him up.
Right, he does. Vitamin C, good to help treat cancer. Vitamin C and frankincense. They're talking about your skin. Or D. I'm sorry. Vitamin D. Yeah, let's talk about vitamin D.
Well, vitamin D is lots of studies have been shown. The most recent study that I'm familiar with was a Creighton University study, showed that proper exposure to sunlight which is how you produce vitamin D in your skin. The ultraviolet rays react with cholesterol in your skin, producing vitamin D. 77% reduction of cancer with appropriate levels of. So it's just important summer, in the fall, and the spring, if you're in a decent climate and get natural sunlight. It's very important. Where most people in the U.S. are vitamin D deficient.
Yes, and so vitamin D helps not only with your health, but also your mental health. And
it helps with regulate hormones as well.
Yes, and that's really important. Yeah. So many of us have issues just because the food chain and the plastics and the makeups that we're putting on. It's really important, ladies, to find cosmetics that are organic. There are so many cancer-causing chemicals in the beauty products and the cleansers and the shampoos and the lotions and the kitchen, we're in our kitchen, washing your dishes to be sure it's organic, that it doesn't have cancer-causing things on it.
And one of the coolest things about vitamin D is that it's free. You go outside and get some sunlight, absolutely free.
Yes.
Y'all text us and let us know if you can see us, if we're coming through.
We don't have anything in from our team, so I think we're good. Ed is asking, how do you feel about cannabis oil treating tumors?
Ed, that's a great question. Cannabis is commonly referred to as marijuana, but it's not. That's a made-up term by the DEA. But
that's
cannabis,
a whole other story.
Whole other story. But cannabis is extremely effective at reducing cancer. It has several different effects against cancer. There are different cannabinoids in the cannabis plant. The most commonly thought of cannabinoid that people are afraid of, specifically governments are afraid of, is called THC, which is short for delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol.
Can you say it again?
I can't. That's the only time I can say it in one day. But that is the psychoactive component of cannabis. And so when you smoke it, it will get you high. But there are dozens of other cannabinoids, including CBD, which is cannabidiol, and they all have different effects on the endocannabinoid system in the body. Cannabis is, I believe, the most researched plant when it comes to having positive effects on reducing cancers and preventing cancers. There are multiple different ways that it works. There are 13 different types of cancer that I'm aware of that have been researched, and when using cannabis to treat, and it's effective at all 13 types. We've seen melanomas go away, cell carcinomas go away, brain tumors go away when using cannabis. But cannabis is not a, quote, treatment for cancer. Cannabis provides your endocannabinoid system with what it needs so that your body does the healing. It's an amazing plant.
Okay, honey, I think that the screen, I'm going to read the next question. I think they're missing the screen now, but hi, Charlene. I have been on a mission for years to find a safe and healthy makeup to use. Could you tell us makeup and use? Very good question. Julie, I would recommend trying various things. And let us know, by the way, one of our team members just came through and let me know. Okay, so we evidently we lost the screen shot, but hopefully you can still hear us and we can still communicate. So showing me, I've got there. So I'm looking at Ty, and Ty's kind of talking.
Yeah, the screen's frozen, but hopefully y'all can still hear us.
Yeah, so we'll just continue like a podcast, and we're glad that you're here with us. But yes, the makeup. We ladies, we like to be pretty for our men. I've got a handsome man right beside me, and I'm very grateful. But the best thing I have to say about Ty is his heart. He's got a sweetheart. But the makeup, I'm trying to remember all of it. There's Earth Beauty is one brand. There's, I'm going to have to look at this. I know that we just wrote an article. I wrote an article. There's some skincare products by Anne-Marie
Gianni.
and Gianni. Yes. We have an article up on The Truth About Cancer. Look for that article. It talks about, I've tried her stuff. It's fantastic. I especially like the toner that I spray on my face. It just smells good. It feels good on my skin. And the serums that she has really nourishing the skin. And it's just a great experience. There's a powder. I'm thinking it's Earth Beauty. But what I did years ago is I just did a lot of research. I had various mascaras and different cosmetics and foundations and powders. I just recently revisited, what is it? It's in the mall. It's Beauty Minerals, or not, I can't remember, Beauty Minerals, but they used to have parabens and things in there, and I wouldn't buy that. But recently they've changed the formulations to where it's all natural, and they're causing chemicals in them. So I actually, at one point, I was on the verge of developing a whole line of, at least starting with the lotions and serums and eye stuff, anti-aging, just meaning all natural. I couldn't find anything I liked well enough. I know Suzanne Summers. I've tried her things, and those are great too. So just encourage you to go all organic. Mary Lou, hi from Ohio. Can you list the doctors in the U.S. only that you can go to if you get cancer? Well, there's a whole lot of them. There's a lot of great naturopaths, chiropractors. Dr. Buttar is one that we recommend. And who else, honey? There's a lot.
Yeah, so Dr. Buttar's clinic, North Carolina, is a fantastic clinic. Carrying on the work of Dr. Gonzalez up in New York City with the Kelly protocol, the enzyme protocol. There's several doctors around the Atlanta area. Georgia is a very free state when it comes to medical interventions, and so there's a lot of natural clinics around the area. The Bremen Clinic, BREMEN Clinic around Atlanta, it's a good clinic. Hippocrates Health Institute down in South Florida is awesome.
Okay. There we go. I think we're back. Hello. Mic is on. Can you hear us?
Can hear. Okay, cool. Was the mic off?
Yes. Somehow it got, yeah.
Okay, well, that explains it.
We put it on standard.
Yeah.
We're still trying to, Turtlenet, we may have to find a studio. Next week, I want to tell you all, we are actually we've got over 700 people here, honey.
Sweet.
700 of our closest friends out there. You to know, next week, we're gonna have to find a studio to really be sure we maintain this connection. But we polled last week. We had our awesome team in the back polling you guys, and we said we wanted to know what you want. What is the number one thing you want from Ty and Charlene? You said number one, you wanted product recommendations. So we're doing our best to bring those to you. Next week, we have one of our top recommendations, something that we have ourselves and we want you to have too. And it's going to be pretty cool. So tune in. That's Thursday at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern, and we'll send you information about that. So stay tuned. You can't miss it. But we're back at Disco Party. Ryan says Disco Party.
Was more webinars.
Yeah, second thing, more webinars. That's right. So we're going to do our best to come to you. It's going to be a lot of fun, big parties. We've got a question in here from Flo. What is clean eating? My friend has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Can it be curable? And first of all, I say you can reverse pancreatic cancer. The cases we've seen are Nicholas Gonzalez. Though Nicholas Gonzalez is no longer here with us, that protocol is still being used. It's the Kelly protocol. It's an enzyme protocol, proteolytic enzymes. And when used properly, it actually has reversed late stage pancreatic cancer. We had someone, and also too, down in the bio clinic in Mexico.
Biomedical Center.
Yes. Used to be the Hoxie Clinic. They've successfully treated pancreatic cancer there too. So it's real food. You want to talk about real food?
Sure. And I will in a second, but yeah, stage 4 pancreatic cancer by conventional means is a death sentence, but it's not when you can do some of these advanced treatments. The proteolytic enzyme treatment, very effective. And then the Biomedical Center in Tijuana, that's a very affordable clinic, and they have the Hoxie tonic. And I interviewed a lady that was 40 years from her diagnosis of pancreatic cancer there. So it is not a death sentence. As far as clean eating, when we say clean eating, what we mean is eating as close to nature as possible without processing food and without eating food that has been genetically modified or sprayed pesticides on it. Is the best that we can do. Vegetables is clean. Yeah,
I would recommend in a state of cancer, the body really needs a rest to recover. We know people, I just have to share this story. This is a fantastic story. So there was a woman, we interviewed Sherry Cabal, and unfortunately that interview didn't come through, and it had to, or this part that I'm going to share with you didn't come through. This is really cool stuff. So, a woman that Sherry Cabon, she's known as a juice lady. She's juicing. So there was a woman that came to her with a late stage cancer. She was riddled from head to toe with tumors. And she tried the conventional route. She did the chemotherapy and all those things. And then the doctor said, sorry, there's nothing left we can do. Go home and die, basically. So she got a hold of Sherry and she said, Sherry, I've got this late stage cancer. I've got tumors from head to toe. The doctors I can do, I've done all the conventional, I have no money, and I'm out of hope. Can you help me? And so Sherry said, absolutely. And so she said, let's just juice your way back to health. So she got her on a juicing regime. And in order to do something like this and to be successful, you really have to be dedicated. So this woman was 100% dedicated. She did nothing but juice. So she said the woman was juicing, and within a week felt in her esophagus, and she had a big tumor in her esophagus. She had tumors everywhere. She felt this ripping sensation, and it went all the way down, ripping, until when she went to the bathroom, she expelled a tumor with, I think, 4 blue cords, which were the blood supply to the cancerous tumor. And Sherry said that this is like heavenly scissors. The things that happen when you just juice, the phytonutrients, it's something that goes in and literally stops and it just cuts off that blood supply, and literally the tumors just fall out of your body, which is incredible. And you have them all over your body eventually breaks that down, and that's why the coffee enema is really good at helping to expel those toxins and detoxing in the sauna and so many other detoxification methods we have available to us. But that was such an encouragement to me that you could be in such a dire position where the conventional doctors say, just go home, there's nothing left you can do. And there you have it. Juice your way back to health. And eventually all of those tumors were gone, and she is cancer free. Yeah, that's a great story.
It's an awesome story. And so what Charlene mentioned, you need to put this in your brain. A lot of the fruits and vegetables that are used in juicing have what's called anti-angiogenic properties. Angiogenesis is when the tumor forms a new blood supply, and there's fruits and vegetables that actually stop that blood supply from getting to the tumor and become necrotic. So it's amazing.
Yes,
just natural medicine.
Fantastic. God has given us everything we need. Debbie, hello from Boston. Hi, Debbie. How many treatments of ozone does it take to cure cancer? I have uterine cancer, and the ozone put blood. Good question, honey.
Well, Debbie, unfortunately, we don't know anything about the stage of the cancer or what else you've done or your diet or just a dozen other factors that would influence this. Plus, we can't tell you how long it's going to take to cure any cancer. We don't know. It sounds like what you're doing is autohemotherapy, ozone autohemotherapy, where they draw your blood and mix ozone with it and then inject it back into your system. It's a great treatment. It's a treatment that most of the clinics are using and most of the clinics in Asia that I visited are using. So it's a very effective treatment. We can't tell how long it would take or anything like that, but unfortunately, it is an excellent treatment.
Yeah, Debbie, and I would just encourage you with that juice story. That's something to look into, and everybody's different. Some people do the ketogenic diet, which has been shown, if done properly, and Josh Axe helped us to understand in our latest interview with him, the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. The wrong way to do it is to eat bacon and cheese and butter at every meal. Yeah. And the right way to do it is to just, almost like Chris Wark, overdosing on nutrition, do a lot of herbs, a lot of cancer-killing spices, and avocado, things that are nourishing to the body, but not encumbersome to the digestive system, so that you're just cutting out that sugar, the carbohydrates that really feed the cancer. So there's just so many wonderful things we can do available to us. John says, please talk about alkaline water. I have a Kangen machine, apricot kernels, and red reishi products as they relate to and or cure.
Great question, John. So let me deal with the apricot kernels and red reishi mushrooms first. So the red reishi mushroom, reishi, cordyceps, shiitake, and maitake, all the mushrooms, the medicinal mushrooms, contain beta-glucans, which are polysaccharides that have been shown in thousands of studies to have anti-cancer effects. So that's a great addition to any cancer fighting protocol or prevention. You should be trying to ingest medicinal mushrooms. The apricot kernels contain vitamin B17, right? Laetrile. They were shown 70 years ago to be effective at preventing and even reversing cancer growth. And that was at Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York. The doctors lied about it, and they later were called on it, and they admitted they'd lied. That's what the studies showed. That was the California report of 1953 and onwards. So we know that's effective at treating cancer as well. The alkaline water, not so much. Alkaline water is great, but the digestive juices in your stomach and the acidity in your stomach, alkaline water gets to your small intestine. It's not, the pH is pretty much base. Otherwise, your body doesn't work when you, I mean, if you ingested a Coke and it made it all the way to be absorbed, it's a DSO or so on a soda, it could kill you. That's what your stomach does, is it buffers acids and also alkaline products. It actually buffers down to about a 7.0 to a 7.2. So alkaline water is great from the fact that the water is filtered, but the alkalinity does not make it into your system.
Yes. Let me see. There's another question from Pat. Is it okay to juice vegetables that aren't organic? My organic section is limited.
Great question. Yes, it is. It's okay, but you probably want to soak them before you get. So if you organic selection, soak the vegetables and the fruits in vinegar. You can use some hydrogen peroxide if you want. There's some people use lemon juice. There's a whole host of things. You can just go out and Google how to remove pesticides. You need to soak them, and then once you do that, then it's better to juice them after you've done that.
Let me just add this to the mix here. When you're talking about money and cost-effective ways to eat healthy and have your vegetables, there's a couple different variables that we really need to look at. Number one, I would say if you have the space, and even if you don't have a lot of space, you can grow a lot of your own vegetables right there, even in flower pots or whatever on your balcony, herb gardens, that kind of thing. Grow your own, and pound per pound, it's going to be a lot of seeds. Grow it at your garden. We knew some people in New Zealand. These people really had very, very little money, and we went through their gardens. They were some of the most spectacular gardens that I've ever seen. They had a huge, giant flower bed of just beets. And so they would harvest those things, and then they would pickle them. Remember the squires?
Yeah.
Fantastic. They grew all of their own food. So going to their house and eating was such a treat, because we were eating the food from their garden. Mm-hmm. And that food was clean and it was organic, and they knew how to cultivate it. And they had 8 children, and the children would help. And it was just such a happy, vibrant home. There was such life, and it didn't take them a lot of money. They had very, very little money. I mean, they hardly had any money, but they didn't lack happiness. They didn't lack good, healthy, nutritious food. So that's number one. Number two, I have to say, visiting Joel Salatin was one of the best experiences of our life. I love that guy. So we go and did some interviews with him, and people, he's known for the quote that people say, well, have you, I can't afford organic. And he said, well, have you priced cancer lately? And it's true, but he did break it down to help us to understand that organic is not really as expensive as we might think when you look at the whole picture. So he said he one day went down to a farmer's market, and he picked the most expensive potatoes there, pound per pound. And there was a purple potato there for just over $2, and it was by far the most expensive potato in the market. So he took those potatoes home, and he made his own homemade French fries. Pound per pound, he made these French fries with his salt, clean Himalayan salt, clean oils. He made them in his own oven. And then, you go to McDonald's, you can get French fries there. What are they? We know that, or any kind of fast food restaurant, they're not going to use coconut oil, right? So go to a fast food restaurant, and they're a lot more expensive. To go get fast food, pound per pound, the same money you spent on a bunch of potatoes that can feed many meals to your family, you're going to get maybe one large French fry or something like that. So it's just a matter of prioritizing, organizing your food, and then just cooking it all completely at home, and not buying any of the junk, which pound per pound, a bag of chips. You can make your own chips with those potatoes and fill in many, many bags. So those are all things that you could think about. when you're thinking about price preferred clean food.
Yeah, and I think she just says she doesn't have access to it. So if you don't have access, the good, it's just grow your own if you can. We were in Tokyo recently, and it's amazing. And there's 20 million people in Tokyo with buildings everywhere. You look down from the hotel, and every rooftop had a garden.
Yeah,
I mean, literally every rooftop.
That's something I think.
And we're at 804. We're over 800 people. So thank you all for joining us.
Hi,
That's exciting.
everybody. Yay!
So,
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
next one. Alejandra, I live outside of the U.S. Do you know if there's some type of coffee that I can use for coffee enemas?
Or any other way is the right way of coffee, or any other useful type of useful enemas. Well, you could find that online. I know Cancer Crackdown. I'm going to give them a plug because I love them. I know that Tara Mann, she's fantastic. I don't know if she's watching, or she's got a fantastic ministry, charity. We give to them every year. We're getting ready to give to them again. We love them. They're doing great work. But she does have a whole coffee enema kit. So she'd be glad to help you. Get a hold of Cancer Crackdown. They've got the kits, but you can look online and get that. If you get a kit, they will provide you with a coffee, and you could probably buy more with the people. But
it's kind of coffee than Folgers.
Definitely.
It's a different coffee bean.
Yes. It's organic, and it's not roasted and all those kinds of things. So absolutely. Susan, what is the best protocol to detox from chemotherapy?
Yeah, that's a great question. Detoxing from chemotherapy, one of the best ways that you can detox from chemotherapy while you're on it actually is high antioxidant diet, which is exactly the opposite of what your oncologist will tell you. The oncologist will tell you that while you're taking chemo, don't eat antioxidants because it will prevent the chemo from working. But the studies have not shown that. The studies actually show that the side effects of chemotherapy and the toxicity from chemotherapy is actually lessened if you eat a high antioxidant diet. So the answer to your question, during chemo, high antioxidant diets. Afterwards, essential oils are great from a detoxification from chemo perspective. Dozens of different types of essential oils you can use to detox. A full body detox is something that would help because chemotherapy is poison, and chemotherapy accumulates in the cells, and so a full body detox is something that you might want to consider after you get off a regimen of chemotherapy. If you are dead set on chemotherapy, then what we would say is potentially try to find someone that you can do IPTLD, insulin potentiated low dose targeted chemo, and the side effects will be less than almost none.
Yeah, that's fantastic. The low dose chemotherapy, it really targets the cancer, and it bypasses and the regular cells, the immune system, and all the things that you need to fight that cancer. And it just makes sense to target the cancer instead of hitting the entire body with something that would harm the parts that you need to fight the cancer. So I'm just getting word that the video is frozen
again. It says no sound too. The people are texting in no sound.
No sound? Okay.
Is our thing off again?
Let's see. Sound, are we back? I think we're back. Keep a close eye on that mic. That mic is playing with us. But Dominique, what is your opinion on kombucha?
Well, there's no sound or audio, it looks like, from anybody right now, so I'm not sure if I need to answer this or not.
Are we better? Okay, sound good.
Yes, I hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Audio back.
So
okay,
again, Dominique, what is your opinion on kombucha?
Okay, kombucha is awesome. It's a fermented drink, and it's like a natural probiotic that you can drink. You'll find it in most of the health food stores, and it helps with digestion. And it's also kind of like a natural alternative to sodas because it's fermented. Depending upon the flavor, it tastes awesome.
Yeah,
every time that
some better than others, I have to say.
That's what I was going to say. Every time that we run by Whole Paycheck or Whole Foods, as it's called, I will grab a bottle of kombucha. A lot of people, it's very, very inexpensive to brew your own.
Yes.
Our good friends up in Detroit, Stephanie and Josh McKeith, they brew their own kombucha all the time. So if you can do that, you can brew your own. But it's a health food, and it's great for your gut flora.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Good explanation. I'm glad we're back and that they can hear us. Sound is good again.
Then it says still black screen, no sound. We don't know if they can see us or not, but okay.
Well, Peter said that he could hear us. Blair, question in from Blair. Just left dentist and was told I need to have a mercury filling removed. Dentist is not a natural dentist. How do I prep my body for this? Very good question.
Yeah, great question, Blair. Number one, don't get him to pull it out. Don't get him to remove it. If he's not, you can do much more harm from a heavy metal toxicity perspective than just leaving. Know that mercury fillings off gas and you're continually getting exposed to mercury vapors. It's better right now not to have it removed unless you can find a biological dentist that knows what they're doing when it comes to removing mercury.
Yes.
They need a dam. They need a whole setup to prevent mercury from getting into your system when that happens.
So the way that it works, and you can ask them, say, how would you extract it? Is there any protection you would give into it? There's nothing you need to do for your own body and prep for this process. But the dentist needs to, like Ty said, they need to know the process that they need to have in place to protect you. And here's what that is. When Ty says they need a dam in your mouth, what that is what I've gone, it's a piece of rubber. So they put that tooth through, so it's exposed, and the rest is a rubber that literally goes through your mouth and goes out. I had this done, so I remember my dentist knew what she was doing. She had that piece of rubber, so anything that was coming out would go right through. And I also had an oxygen mask, so anything I was a tank, and anything that was coming out went outside of my mouth, so it was absolutely 100% protected. I love that dentist. She was fantastic. So you need to find someone like that really knows what they're doing, protecting you. And then after you get that out, chelate. EDTA is a good method to chelate. I've taken the caps before. I know Paul Bertiero has AM and PM EDTA, which will pull and extract that metal, the heavy metal that you had through the years from having that filling. Another way you could do, I know Dr. Bitar does it, he can do IV chelation, so that through your veins, they put something there, a process by which they pull out those heavy metals. So after you get that filling out, you really need to, and all the fillings, if you've got a bunch, get them out. You might have to do some one day, some another day. After you get them out, chelate your body and do the very best you can to the heavy metals, get into an infrared sauna, right? Infrared saunas.
It'll help you to sweat it out. Sweat is a great way to release heavy metals from your system. Charlene mentioned chelation. We'll give you a grammar lesson here on Latin. So it comes from the root word chele, C-H-E-L-E, which is Latin for to claw.
You're so smart, honey.
So they're clawing agents. They pull them out of your system. Which most of us can relate to is cilantro.
I give it away.
Make a shake with cilantro, organic cilantro and water, and drink it. Cilantro is a great chelating agent for heavy metals.
Yes, absolutely. Good explanation. D, what vegetables are best to juice for cancer? Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
I think the first one I think of, and he's got like
actually, you can if you're ready, willing, and able. Oh no, you can if you have permission. You may if you're ready, willing, and able.
Thank you.
Or is it? Did I reverse it? I reversed it, Mom.
May I? Can I?
Mom, I'm sorry. Mom would be ashamed. I reversed. I'm mixed up. Go ahead.
Carrots. Carrots. I have read testimonies of people that have healed their bodies of cancer just through carrot juice. So that's a mainstay with them. Our personal favorite is carrots, beets, which are great for the liver, right? Cucumbers, celery, and Granny Smith apples because they're lower in sugar content and high in taste and really help the overall flavor profile. And we also, through Juice Lady Sherry Cabone, started adding whole lemons, skin and all, or the skin, the outside peeling, the whole essential oils in that peeling. So the entire thing, and it adds such a great flavor. And then ginger. I love it hot. I like to put lots of ginger, and that ginger is so good for you. A lot of anti-cancer properties in ginger too. So that is our personal favorite recipe. We love it. I'm hungry for some juice, honey.
Yeah, juice is great. And now if you have one of those slow juicers, green leafy vegetables, kale, that's awesome. But you have to have one of the slow juicers. Cilantro greens in those. Herbs. But the fast juicers that you get at Wally World, it won't really get much juice.
Well, you know what you could do? What the juice lady did, remember, honey, when she was at her house, we did the Truth About Detox. We did some juicing together. And so we made some juice, and then we put that juice into our Vitamix, and we added the cilantro in there. So it was the whole thing. We got the benefit of the whole herb. And you could do that with basil, anything that you would want. We just had some juice. We stayed at a hotel for the Healing Strong, and it was amazing. They had fresh juice on their menu. That was fantastic. So I got one of everything. One of the juice that they had was so delicious was watermelon with basil. Yum.
Yeah. All right, next, Fabiola. What have you heard about our medical records being accessible to the government, including vaccines or lack of? Is that a true threat to us and how we protect ourselves? It's a great question, Fabiola. Surprised if they have access to just about everything. That's kind of the way that information is going, is that governments have access to just about everything. So I don't know specifically whether it's statutory, state by state or the federal government. That's where everything's going. I mean, that's why I'm so opposed to, like, now we've got retinal scanners to open your computer, and you've got fingerprint scanners to open your phone, and you've got all this technology facial recognition. It's all heading to a point where everything about everyone is known. So you may end up having to be like the character in 1984 that had to get over in the corner to prevent being seen from Big Brother. And that's kind of the way that the information age is heading. We're not opposed to information. We love information, and we're glad that we can join you today on this webinar. It's awesome. Fantastic. But there's always a downside. And so how much of your health information do governments have access to? Probably quite a bit, if not all of it.
Yeah, and it's just it's not a good thing. Our daughter Brianna, she's now 18 years old, and her curriculum, right? And she's educated here at home. She's fantastic. But this year, it's just she's reading a lot of literature, and one of them, 1984, and she said that was just really a bummer book. But she said we're far more gone than even that book, because she's a history buff. She's a patriot. She loves the citizens of the world. She wants everybody to be free and happy, and so she's on it. She's on it. 1984, what a book. Next
question. Susan asked about what is the BX protocol. Listen, I'm vaguely familiar with the BX protocol from years ago, but if you can Google it and find out about the details of the protocol, but I haven't been involved with researching that.
What about the T-Rex protocol?
The T-Rex protocol?
He's T-Rex.
As long as it's grass-fed T-Rex that you're eating.
No, you're T-Rex. Okay. Remember that?
Oh, no, my cousin.
He's got so many nicknames.
Cousin called me T-Rex, so that's funny. Yeah. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Do we eat oils? Tiny Charlene, do you eat oils? Yes, we only eat healthy oil stuff. So extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil.
Olive oil, she's got olive oil.
Grass-fed butter.
Avocado. coconut.
Avocado's awesome. So
Omega,
yes.
she's mentioning omega-6 oils are not healthy, but I have been hearing all oils are not good for us because they are pressed and very fattening. Just wondering what your thoughts are on oils.
Yeah, we disagree with the no oil crowd. There's a lot of people say you shouldn't be eating oils. Totally disagree. The right kinds of oils, which we just listed: coconut oil, avocados, grass-fed butter, butter from grass-fed cows,
and raw milk.
Milk, extra virgin olive oil. We believe those are very, very healthy oils.
Yeah. So, and also too, you have to remember what one oil is really a superfood to one. There may be something for another that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You've got to consider we all have different body types and chemistries and sensitivities. So we try to find out what works for everyone, and that's where testing your blood and going to a doctor that understands these things, the sensitivities that you have uniquely that somebody else doesn't. So all these play in the mix, and I think that may be. I know someone that's very healthy that they were almost overdosing with coconut oil, but for their body chemistry it didn't work. For mine, it does. So I think that's a healthy approach that we can take.
Yeah, it's got to be individualized.
Yeah.
Right. So we're just speaking personally. We eat lots of healthy oils.
Yeah. And we love it. Why is soy bad for breast cancer? And that's Geraldine.
Geraldine, yeah.
Okay.
Why is soy bad for breast cancer? Well, there's two different schools on soy. Some people believe it's healthy. Some people don't. Number one, if you're going to eat soy, be sure that it's organic. Because if it's not organic, it's probably genetically modified. That's bad for everything, not just breast cancer. But if you are one of those that believe that soy is healthy, be sure. I would not eat a lot of it and make sure it's organic.
Fermented.
Fermented soy products are different. The soy has estrogen. It has phytoestrogens, enzyme inhibitors, which really kind of stop digestion if ingested too much. So those are a couple of the problems that typical soy has is the fact that it does have the phytoestrogens or plant estrogens. Not that they're necessarily bad, but when you have breast cancer, we would not partake in soy if we had cancer of any kind because of the phytoestrogens and also the enzyme inhibitors, specifically trypsin. I believe trypsin is one of the proteolytic enzymes that digest cancer cell coating. Trypsin. And soy inhibitors. In other words, it stops the enzymes from digesting the protein coating around the cancer cell. So if you have cancer, that's a good reason to not ingest soy. But then there's people that we greatly respect that we've interviewed that have been in our documentaries that think it's awesome and would argue with me till the cows come home about this.
And that's okay.
That's okay. That disagree without being disagreed.
So bottom line with soy, there's different schools of thought. Keep it clean, GMO free. And before we get to that one, there's D. I saw your comment come through. It didn't get highlighted. We got another highlighted one we want to focus on next. But D asked what kind of juicer we use. You want to give the answer?
We use the $49.99 juicer from Wally World, and every time we juice, it takes off to Mars.
Yeah.
It's so loud, but that's the one we use because it's quick.
Yeah, in other words, we have the expensive juicers that take a long time. They extract every little particle of the juice. But it was so complicated and cleaning it was so cumbersome to our time and energy that we just didn't use it. So we encourage people to get the juicer, go use and do use it. So our juicer is really easy to use. It's got a wide opening. We just chunk the stuff in there that our kids can juice. And we juice quite frequently because it's easy to use, it's easy to put together, it's easy to clean and put away. So get the juicer that you're going to use.
The best juicer is the one that you use.
Yes, absolutely.
Next, Sherry says, what's the best way to clean veggies? Maybe peroxide. Yeah, we mentioned that a little bit earlier. Hydrogen peroxide, vinegar, lemon juice. There's lots of different ways to clean veggies. So especially if they're not organic, be sure that you clean them off. And even if they are organic, wash them off, please, because those vegetables have been picked up and placed there by somebody. And I've seen some statistics on the amount of bacteria that they're finding on fruits and vegetables now, just from being transferred. So be sure that you wash them off. Yeah, he gets on our case about that. If we bring home some organic rice, we start eating it. It's like, honey, wash it. Yes. Somebody was touching that. Okay, Lila, what can be done
for 5G exposure? Good question. Husband had issues with EMF exposure. That's a great question.
Yeah, great question. 5G is coming. The best thing that you can do now for 5G exposure is live somewhere where they don't have 5G. Okay, but you can't just get up and move. I understand I'm kind of being sarcastic, but a lot of the big metropolitan areas are going to be rolling very, very soon. I doubt that we'll ever see 5G out here where we live way out in the country, which is one of the reasons that we have such a poor internet connection. But there's a plus and take. There's a give and take on everything, pluses and minuses. We're happy to be out in the country, but if you are in a city, 5G is coming. There are devices that will protect your whole house from 5G. There are also devices that you can actually carry with you that will protect you from 5G and other types of electromagnetic frequencies that you're exposed to, even when you're flying in a plane. So maybe we'll talk about those in a future webinar.
Yeah,
I'll give you some specifics, but there are some devices that are coming that are out there that will protect you.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's coming. So be watching. I think we've got our hands on some new technology that you're going to want to hear about. Rose, what about eating grass-fed meat?
Rose, great question. We love our vegan friends, but we are not vegan. We do eat meat, but we try to make sure that when
Every time I think of this, honey, I think of Casey Krejci. Casey, if you're watching, we're going to have some good grass-fed meat for you.
Yes. So if you are going to partake in meat, make sure it's grass-fed. And we're fortunate, all the grocery stores around here, this area of Tennessee, they all have organic sections that carry organic grass-fed beef. And not much more than regular ground beef, a little bit more. But if you're going to eat meat, make sure it's grass-fed beef. The reason being so, cows were made to eat grass. They weren't made to eat grains. And so when they eat grains, specifically grains now that are like corn and
GMO.
That are GMO, they're not only eating something they're not supposed to eat, which changes the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids in their meat, but it also ingests genetically modified organisms, which then transfer into their meat as well. So that's two good reasons not to eat conventionally raised beef, but to make sure it's grass-fed. Cows are made to eat grass, and the ratio actually in grass-fed beef, believe it or not, one of the reasons that salmon is looked at as such this meat superfood is because of the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fats is such a good ratio, with the omega-3s being higher and less on the 6. Grass-fed beef is actually just as good for you as salmon.
That's crazy.
On that ratio.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But we recommend, at least for us, I feel like if I eat salmon or if I eat grass-fed beef, you eat a lot of beef, you feel a little different. It's a little heavier in the digestive system. So I would recommend, I guess, eating a little less of that than salmon if you're going to be eating meat. Salmon is a lot lighter and easier to digest.
That's a good point. Some people just love beef and don't like fish, in which case eat grass-fed beef. I personally prefer salmon or some sort of fish over beef, so it feels lighter, like Charlene said. So eat what you like, but make sure it's clean.
Yes, absolutely.
What is a full body detox? Susan says.
Very good question. Do you remember the first time we did that?
Yeah. Yes. So
that was tough.
We would consider a full body detox being a detox that cleans out all of your organs in order, in a certain order. So you want to clean out your liver, your gall, your kidneys, your blood, and then your colon. But that's the wrong order, though. The colon should be first. So I made it backwards. Your colon should be first, because otherwise, if you don't clean out your colon first, then when you clean out your other organs, the waste has no place to go. It's impacted. So colon's got to be first. And then people differ on whether it should be liver next or kidneys next or gall next, or should your blood cleanse be after the colon? But that's the different bodily organs that are detoxified in a full body detox, with the colon being first. One of the things that many people forget in a detox is you need to consistently be sweating.
Yes.
Because you can detox your organs that way, but your skin is actually your largest organ of elimination in your body. So if you're doing a full body detox, but you're not sweating every day, you're only getting half the benefit.
So, honey, does that mean that in the new year, we're going to do a full body detox together?
I will do a full body detox if you want to.
So, you know what? Let's do that. And you guys out there, let's do that. Let's do a webinar on
January would be a good time.
Okay, January, we're going to do a full body detox. You just heard it right here. We've just made this agreement. and we're going to make it with you. Whoever wants to join us. We'll come. We're going to keep doing these webinars, and then we can talk about how we're feeling and what we're juicing, what we're drinking. And I have to say real quick, when we did our full body detox, I remember we did this huge party for almost 50 people. It was a going away party, and this couple, they loved Italian. I said, any cuisine you like, I'm going to make it. So I made a ton of meatballs and all this stuff, and a ton of homemade sauce. And so I remember making meatballs. I tasted like just a tiny piece of what was left in the pan. I was like, oh, this is so good. But I was able to make it not eat. I think right in the middle, though, we said, okay, we're going to eat one meatball. So we had that one meatball, and it was, of course, a clean meatball, delicious too. But then we went to the whole rest of this full body detox program. So when we got to the part, I think it was the liver cleanse or gallbladder, I don't remember. It was the orange juice with every day you put a little bit more oil and you're cleansing, I think your gallbladder. I don't remember which body part, but, and then you put garlic in the orange juice and maybe ginger too. I don't know. But I remember that thing tasted so good to me. It was like a steak meal or something. So when I got pregnant, we moved to Panama. I actually craved that drink, and I realized that ginger had helped with the morning sickness I would deal with and nausea, and ginger has such an effect when you're nauseous.
And when we lived in Panama, I literally used to make it that fresh for her every morning because the citrus fruits are so prevalent down there. I mean, there's oranges and lemons falling off the trees, so we always had fresh citrus.
Honey, we've had some adventures.
We have, and that reminds me too of when we lived in New Zealand, when the full body detox. I did a full body cleanse down there.
I did with them.
I lost so much weight. My face was so drawn that Charlene said that I looked like nothing more than eyes and teeth and hair.
Eyes and I don't even remember the teeth. I just remember the eyes and hair. And it was funny because we were doing some kind of promotion for something, and I was trying to take the pictures of him. And I was taking pictures, and I just remember laughing, saying, "Honey, we cannot use these pictures. You were just nothing but eyes and hair."
Eyes and teeth and hair.
Yeah,
because I was smiling. I was smiling real big in the picture.
We've had some fun times. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. It's let's see. Good evening from UK. Veselina, UK. What flours are okay to substitute for white flour? We like to use coconut flour, rice flour, and almond flour. Those are the three main ones that we use to substitute.
Yes, and you could take the almonds and put them in a coffee grinder, really easy, and grind it yourself and have that fresh flour. So that's a really good way to go. We've made some cookies and different things like that and that's another thing that I think on the last webinar, they asked about what sugars to use when baking because they love to bake and with the holidays coming around. So if you could use flours like that are gluten-free and coconut flour combo with maybe a rice flour, a barley flour, be sure it's organic, your almond flour, that the sweeteners, there's a lot of different choices you have. Raw honey is a superfood. And so if you could replace that, and I've replaced raw honey with the sugar, and it tastes delicious in cakes and cookies and things like that. Mm-hmm. You can use grade B maple syrup, be sure it's organic. But if you want to stay away from those have a lot of medicinal properties in them. But with cancer, you can replace that with stevia. And there's what are the xylitol or
xylitol and erythritol are two that they're not necessarily the healthiest, but they're less toxic in a pinch. Yeah, but stevia is the best. Yeah, it reminds me a few weeks ago, Charlene. Monk fruit, right? Monk fruit's okay. Yeah. A few weeks ago, Charlene was out with everybody except me and Charity were here. So Charity and I got together and we made homemade pizza, and we made it with rice flour and coconut flour. We rolled it out. Put some organic sauce on it and some organic cheese. Pesto. Cut up some organic tomatoes and some basil on top of it. We used some pesto. Yeah. Best homemade pizza ever. It was awesome. I
have to share a recipe with you. Find a really good. I've got a crust, and hopefully one of these days I'm going to finish the cookbook. This is in the cookbook. But take notes. It's get your favorite crust recipe, and they're really easy to make. A lot of fun too. I like to add herbs in the crust because it really kicks up the taste a notch. But then you can make your homemade pizza sauce really easy, or get an organic pizza sauce. But you know what? The one the kids like best is not the pizza sauce. Get a pesto. You can easily make your own pesto or find an organic pesto, one with olive oil instead of that canola oil and that kind of stuff. And
that's what Charity used on her. She loved
pesto. So the kids love this pizza. Yeah. So put the pesto on there, and then put your organic cheeses, grass-fed raw if you could find it. Mozzarella, you could put that on there, and then a little sharp cheddar. And I like to get a jack cheese. with a little bit of kick, just a little bit of that, maybe a little Swiss cheese, whatever cheese you like. Just find it organic, raw if possible. And if you like chicken, put little, cook your chicken breasts and sprinkle that on there. Put it in the oven.
Grass-fed beef, if you like beef.
No beef on this
I
one.
love
Trust
beef.
me, no beef on this. This is not beef. Put that in the oven for a couple minutes till that crust is done. No beef. No beef. And serve it to your family. That's going to be a hit. You can have a party just having that with that big healthy salad. I've also got Caesar salad recipes. Sometime we're going to have to get in the kitchen with these webinars and just do some good cooking with some of our favorite recipes.
I'll do the eating. You do the cooking.
Okay. So yeah, he can talk and I'll cook and we'll eat together.
Yeah. Well, look, it's webinar's about over here. We've been on an hour. We still got 736 people.
Wow. One more.
Amazing.
Do you eat?
Thank you for staying on.
Yes, we appreciate it. I want to address Julie. I wish we could stay here all day. You guys are
Julie
awesome.
says, do you eat dark
someone
chocolate?
said you eat dairy, ?
Yes.
Raw dairy is actually a superfood. Raw dairy is great. And when you hydrogenated, cooked up, not so good. Julie, do you eat dark chocolate?
Pasteurized is what you're trying to say.
Pasteurized. Yes, of course.
Okay, last question. We're going to hurry.
I'm trying to hurry.
Do you eat dark chocolate?
Let me answer.
I'll answer after you.
Yes.
No. I devour dark chocolate.
Okay,
yes.
You're fine.
Yes, we eat dark chocolate.
So here's what I do, okay? For the chocolate fix that you need, I've got a great recipe. So I'm going to share it with you right now. Are you ready? Get your pens out because this is a really super cool. It took me a while to get this. I got a recipe from someone who tried it. It was awful. So I just tweaked it and it ended up being so perfect. So find raw cacao, organic raw cacao. That is a super duper superfood. It's the chocolate in the beautiful
is that a real
state.
Word? Super duper.
It is.
Food?
It's my
okay, it's a beautiful word.
So it's get the cacao, the raw cacao organic. You get on Amazon if you need to. You can't find it locally.
Or
Get it delivered.
just Google super duper superfood.
There you go.
And you'll find it.
So that or the raw cacao that's organic. Okay, so you're going to do 1 cup of everything. If you want to make a large batch, do 2 cups. But get that, and then coconut oil, equal amounts, 1 cup of raw cacao powder, and 1 cup of coconut oil, and then 1 cup of your sweetener, which I split half and half, a whole cup, but half raw honey, half gray bean maple syrup, and then 1 cup of almond butter. You could get that raw if you want to keep it all raw. If you have an organic peanut butter, Valencia peanuts are the best. They're low in mold. So get that peanut butter in there. And so the way I do this on the oven and the stove, I just, on a very low temperature, melt the cacao with the melt the coconut oil with the cacao. Once it's melted, hurry up and take it off of the oven. Then you just stir in the peanut butter, the almond butter, and the honey. Then I take a tablespoon or half a tablespoon of vanilla, a good quality vanilla. You can even put vanilla bean in there. Put that in there, and then do raw or Himalayan salt, pink salt. Get your candy molds. Be sure you get those that ones that are pliable. If you get the tins, it's really hard. But put that in your candy mold. Top it with your salt. If you want to get fancy schmancy, get raw pecan half. Put it on there, and then put it in your freezer. You will not believe how good that is.
They're fantastic.
You don't have to get the junk at the store. Make your own. And make it special. And when you have guests, they won't believe how good that is. So many more recipes to come. These are going to be in my cookbook. We got a lot of tricks up our sleeves to share with you. But we just want to say to each and every one of you, thank you for, he's looking in his sleeves for the candy. I think they're in there. Just keep searching.
No, you said we had tricks up our sleeves. I was looking for more tricks.
Candy too. Tricks.
Here's some candy.
Okay. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
I hope you've had fun. I had fun. Did you have fun?
We both had fun. I had a blast. It's always fun to join you and do these webinars. We look forward to many more in the future.
Yes. So before we go, one more thing, right?
Colombo.
We've got another webinar. This is going to be super cool. You asked for products. We've got an awesome rock star of a product coming your way next Thursday. So sign up for that webinar. It's going to happen Thursday at 3 Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We want you to join us. We'll send you an email. And so be looking for it and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. God bless you all.
Yes.